Thank you, guys. Full house. I'm very happy about it. Are you good after yesterday? Seriously? You're gonna get through this? If you want, I got some spare Red Bulls, so if you want someone, I can throw it for you. No? Yeah? I want some? Yeah. It's helpful, I know. Okay, and again, I'm curious why you're here. You know, The Witcher is out. You should be playing this at home right now. I hear it's good. Maybe. Okay, so as you know, my name is here, Kacper Niepokólczycki. If someone is not from Poland and can pronounce that, I'm gonna buy him a beer, seriously. Yeah, so of course I'm from the Stitch Project Red. I'm an environment artist, and today I would like to talk to you about how much of the smoke and mirrors philosophy is in our work, in our environment art. First of all, if any of you is working with art for games, you're gonna probably know most of the stuff I'm going to talk to you about. But I think there are some interesting things for all of you, like some interesting numbers maybe, but I'm gonna see that later. So first of all, I will divide this presentation in three parts, which is first is how do we approach our hardware limitations, because there are always some kind of limitations. Second of all, how we work with meshes, how we do these illusions, and again, how we working with textures, right? So what kind of illusions we need to do to make it look good and be light on memory. And of course, I would like to squeeze some time from Q&A, so I hope it's going to be some questions for that. All right, so basically what is smoke and mirrors? Well, smoke and mirrors is the philosophy when some kind of illusionists did some illusions to make the viewer think there's something going on, like something, I know, maybe some building is going to disappear or not. But basically this is some kind of illusions, and they were using some smoke and mirrors to cover it up. So basically, how much of that philosophy is at our work, what we do, right? So I'm going to try to explain that. And again, as I said, there are always some kind of hardware limitations, right? These are the two most powerful consoles on the market right now. Well, as we know, this hardware represents the limitations. We cannot upgrade those consoles, right? You're going to buy this, and you're going to get through this with just one hardware. So it's a good thing, because we can, as developers, create interesting game, smooth game, optimized game for those consoles. And if any of you wish to, buy some higher-end hardware like super speedy NSA PC, right? You can do it and play our game. This looks much better, I would say, right? But still, the consoles are very important for us, because we can create super optimized games. And then again, we as a developer, we are very in the learning curve, right? As you know, the consoles are not that old, so we're still learning. And I assure you that this knowledge we got right now, we're going to apply this in our new expansion packs, and this is going to be awesome. So please look forward for that. These are the numbers we are working with. So, of course, all the numbers are applying to the art objects, so no physics, no AI, no other gameplay stuff, just art-related stuff. And we got 1.6 gigabytes for texture memory. As you know, the textures are most of the time the most heavy on memory part of our game, of any game, I would say. We get around 470 megabytes for meshes and around 170 megabytes for shaders. Again, all those numbers are related for the art stuff, like models, textures, stuff like that. So no other things. First trick I need to show you and try to explain to you is the streaming. Maybe some of you know it or not, but basically the bag on your right, think about it as our game, right? So you can put as much information as 5 gigabytes for this bag. Okay, so let's try and imagine that you're playing our game, and the Geralt is riding a horse. So we need to stream into the memory our horse. And then just say, of course, those numbers are not relative, just to show you, visualize this example. Let's just say that this horse is going to take around 10% of our whole memory for the game. So we're adding a horse. And let's say that we are going through a forest or woods or wherever, and it's a big wood. So we're going to use around 25% for this memory. And again, we need to go to some kind of village, and we need some people in the village. And let's just say that this is a huge village with many NPCs, and this is almost 95% right now of our memory. So it's hard to squish anything more right now, right? So the bag is almost full, like girls doing shopping, right? And right now, okay, so Geralt is in the village, he's going for some quest, and he learned that he needs to go to a castle to make a monster hunt. So he's leaving the village, right? So you don't need those houses anymore. We don't need those NPCs anymore because he doesn't see this village, right? So again, right now you got some free memory. Right now just using 25%, but he needs to go for a big, huge building like a bridge, and again, he's in the castle. So it's right around 75% of our memory, and again, let's just say that he had like big, huge monster hunter. So again, we got almost all the memory used. So basically, streaming means that we're going to use only those objects that we actually need to use, right? At certain points of the game. It wouldn't be possible for us to stream all of our game to the memory because this game is good and it's big. So I hope you understand the basic idea of the streaming. I hope most of you know what is this. This is Novigrad. This is the biggest medieval city ever created in video games, ever. So it's huge. It's a small part of this town. And even this shot got some smoke and mirrors more going on right now. You're going to see some many buildings, right? You got some horizon line over there. Most of them, almost most of those buildings are with interiors, so you can go in, go out. So it's huge. And the best part is that I needed some kind of example how to show you how to we working with the meshes. And my friend Damien, maybe you're gonna know him from YouTube's videos. He's doing many interviews, and I was like talking with him, and I said, I need some good example for my presentation. And he was like, what you need? I was said that I need a big building, right? Big building, complex building. He was like, okay, you got something in mind? And I said, yes, I think I have something, like an inn or something. He said, use this. And he gave me this building. It's called Passiflora, and it's turned out to be a brothel. So yes, this is one of the biggest buildings in Novigrad. So this is a good example for you. And I'm going to show you why. Again, this is the same building, right? Just in editor, put together. Keep in mind that 470 megabytes, it's a budget for meshes. So why this building is a good example? First of all, it's big, got many parts, it's very heavy on geometry, and it's got interior and exterior. So those parts put together are going to take around 70% of our whole budget for the game, for the meshes. So 5 buildings like that, we're off. So that's why it's a good example to show you those contrast parts. I don't know why this text over should be. So most used parts in that brothel exterior. So think about it as a Lego parts, Lego blocks, right? You're gonna put some parts together to create this building, basically. So these are those that are mostly used. So for example, we got those stairs right here. One set of those stairs is almost 2.8 megabytes, just one. So 6 of those would be over 12 megabytes. So basically, the trick here is to use the same mesh and copy it over again. So you're gonna use like just one mesh in our memory, but basically you can use those meshes as much as you can, right? So look at this, how many windows we have, like how many steps, how many those small roofs. So basically, what I mean is, if you try to put all those meshes together like as one mesh, you would use almost 35 megabytes of memory. That is a lot for one building, right? If you'd go just to use simple mesh and copy it all over your building, you would go with almost over 5 megabytes. So basically, we got really big savings of memory here, 39 megabytes. So my, I would say just guys, you reuse as much as you can, but do it smart, because you can always overdo it, and it's not a good thing. So you can see how much memory we just saved on one building, just one. So it's really worth it. Again, our profile. And for you, do you see any differences between those three pictures? Of course, they're just different sizes, right? But anything else? If someone's going to tell me some difference, he's going to get a T-shirt. Okay, hands up. All right, yeah, you're right. Yeah, as I said, here we go. Okay, yeah, basically, these are three different models, but representing the same building, right? So to help you out, this is the same building here. I mean, those three meshes here put together. So these are basically the LODs, called level details. And again, these are three different meshes representing the same building, but different. Every single each of those is lighter in memory. So you got some information over there. The LOD 00 is here. This is the one that player is going to actually work with. He's going to be walking around it, walking inside it. This is the most detailed mesh, right? The LOD 01, you can see how big difference of the memories right now. It's almost over 20 megabytes, just one mesh. So, and still, you can see there is a difference, but it's not as big as I would say. And this is the one that is further from player. The player is going to see this LOD if he's over 80 meters away from this building. And we got the proxy. The proxy is the lightest in memory one, the lightest in geometry, and the lightest in texture. And you can see how much how much memory you can actually gain using proxies. But then again, you're going to see those buildings in different distances, so it's going to be hard for you to actually see the difference in those buildings. And I'm going to show you how it works here. So basically, the proxies are always in our memory, always, because you're going to see those buildings from far, far away. This is open world game, right? So we got the proxies all the time. So on this example, right now, we got 1.2 megabytes in our memory, right? And we're going to say, we want to go to the profile, have some fun. So the girl is approaching this building, and if he's closer than 80 meters away from this building, he will get the LOD 01, and he will get almost 40 megabytes in our memory. When he's closer than 50 meters, he will get the LOD 00, so the most heavy on textures and heavy on oh no, sorry, it's LOD 01, sorry, my bad. So this is the one he's gonna see when he's less than 50 meters. So this is not the most detailed one, but then again, you can go even closer. So when you closer than 20 meters, you're gonna see the LOD 00, so the one that's most heavy on textures and most heavy on geometry, and it's got interiors. Okay, so basically, this is the heaviest one. You can see we went from 1.2 megabytes to almost 80 megabytes on just one mesh. So those differences are really, really huge. And I know you love those animations, but I'm not an animator here. So, of course, you can go inside. You can see how it looks. You want to go inside? You want to see it? No? Yeah? Okay, so this is Passiflora inside, just one room. You can see how rich it is. We got so many NPCs, we got lighting, shaders, materials, textures, we got loads of geometry. So it's very heavy, That's why we cannot render it all the time. We need to hide it when players away from the building, right? So, but again, we are talking about meshes here, so this is the same room, only just a mesh. It's still very rich, right? You got many textures, many materials, it's rich on geometry, looks nice, but still, it's missing the decorations. And how it looks, this is the same building, just all the interiors showed. So we got, this was the room I was showing you. So we got the 6 rooms here. And you can see this only meshes here without decoration cost us over 43 megabytes. And the trick here is to hide this interior as fast as we can. So it's gonna hide after 20 meters. So if you're gonna play our game and you're gonna be 20 meters away from this building, this will not be rendered. This will not be in our memory, right? And we don't need LODs for that. It's very, very, sorry. It's very, very closely hide, so, fast hide, so we don't need LODs. But you might think, okay, so I'm gonna see when the interior is popping in or popping out. You won't. First of all, we don't have open doors. I mean, you can open the door, of course, but they're closed all the time, so you won't see the popping. And far away from those buildings, you are not allowed to see through the windows. Why? Because we got we got this. I hope you can see this. It's very dark, right? But then again, you can see there is something in there, but there is not. There's just a shader. There's a parallax shader that is making the player think that there is some kind of interior in there. I'm getting fooled by this all the time, to be honest with you. It looks great. It's like a hologram or something, right? But this is parallax shader. It's on a plane, so just two triangles, but looks like this. It gives an illusion of the interior, right? While it's not there. Good? Like it? Again, summary. The LOD uses almost 80 megabytes, put together interior and exterior, and some proxy use 1.2 megabytes. So again, you can see how big of the difference using LODs and proxies actually can give us. Assuming that we're going to use only 200 megabytes from our memory for meshes, only for houses, there are some buildings that we can use. So the Passiflora put together, we could only go with 2.5. So yeah, we can make a freaking big city with just the 2 brothels. Not enough for us. Using LODs, we could use FinePost 6 LODs. With proxies, it's almost 16. With LODs, it's almost 16. With proxies, it's over 160. So right now, you can start to build something, right? But to give you another example, it's a smaller house here. As you can see, it's much, much smaller in memory, but the numbers are way different. Look at this. So we can actually start building some kind of big city, right? I hope you understand that. So we're just trying to use the memory as much as we can, as possible we can, right? So we're doing all those different things to fit into my memory. So again, we're here with Novigrad, and those red parts here are the LODs 00. So basically, this is the mesh where the player is going to go through, going to see from close up, right? So these are the most heavy on textures and those most heavy on geometry. Of course, you can see our logo here, the big red bird. The LOD 01 are the yellow parts. So basically, this is the second LOD with it's kind of less on textures in lighter on memory. But you're going to see this from the distance, from over 50 meters. So it's hard for you right now to see the difference between those two meshes because you will never see it close up. And the last one is the proxies. The red points are the proxies. So you're going to see it from over 80 meters. And again, I think it's hard to see the change in the textures and in the memory, in the meshes. But then again, this is only the city, right? As you know, this is the open game, so you got a lot of going on under the horizon. You got there's Oxenford Bridge there. There are some boats, some windmills. So those parts are always proxies. As I said, they're always loaded in your memory. You need to see those parts of the game all the time. So this is how it works. I hope you can understand this. And this is the part about meshes. So basically, we are trying to create an illusion of a huge city, but with different meshes to fool the player to think that this is only all the time streamed in, but it's not. We need to use those memory as much as we can. And from this point, we are going to move to the textures. So this is the basic texture. 1K we called it, so 124, 1024, 24. And our engine compressed this texture into 0.6 megabytes. Of course, it's all put together from 3 channels. And we need alpha, sometimes for the roughness, it's going to give us 1.3 megabytes for just one texture. This is the basic material, so put together all those textures together, we got almost 2 megabytes. And this is how it looks in our engine. Of course, this texture is is created only for this presentation. It's not the actual asset from the Witcher game, so please keep in mind that. But then again, this is how it looks. This is what we need to work with. Think about this part here as a wall of the building, right? So our approach was to create a very dense text. So you can go very close to the wall, you won't see any pixels, right? So it's going to be very smooth in textures. So we started to using 1K texture on every 2 square meters. So this texture, as you can see, how many times it's actually tiling on this wall. It's over 4 times horizontally and over 6 times vertically. So if I would try to create a texture, custom texture for this wall, I would need a texture around over 5K. So it's a very huge texture, right? We don't use this kind of textures here. And it would take me around 18 megabytes of memory. So this is a lot. And we all know the buildings have at least four sides, right? So this one building with 4 sides will cost us over 70 megabytes in our memory. So this is we can't go this way. That's why we are using this very dense texture, but it's hard to have the texture that's styling so good to look nicely on this wall, right? So this is a bad example, of course. This is texture that got some kind of patterns. You can see very easily how this patterns is repeating itself. So this texture, our brick, looks a lot better, but still, it's not interesting. You can see those spots repeating itself all the time. So what we came up with, we are using the textures array. So we are trying to recreate real-life walls, like I would say, okay? So here you got an example of plaster wall put together with some dirt brick and some clean brick, right? And for those texture arrays, we need the material, so we need those textures with, of course, albedo and normal maps. So this material, this texture array, it's very small, it's only 3 materials, will cost us 6 megabytes plus our mask. So we actually can paint these textures on our geometry. And this actually looks like this. So it's almost like a canvas in Photoshop. You can just go over your geometry and paint those textures on your model. It's not just me just showing you how it works, but basically you're gonna see those plasters with dirt brick and this clean brick. And of course, those textures are always 1K in our example, right? So basically, right now we have the flexibility to use those dense textures, but we can actually create very different variations of the same wall. So of course, we need some vertices. So we need to find the balance between the texture usage and the geometry heavy. But again, we can create much different feel to any of the models. I'm going to show you how. So this is the same example. Let's just assume that we're going to use around 800 megabytes for buildings, for textures, of course. So if I would try to create those custom buildings, I would only go with 11 of those. So 11 buildings is still not enough for us. But using our textures arrays, I can go from over 1,323 textures. So right now, I got the power to create many variances of different buildings, right? So this is the same wall here, just with some wooden beams. It's always smart to use some different textures or different geometry to cover up and to break down this very flat, I would say, boring maybe sometimes textures. This is an example of me painting some of the brick and walls on the plaster and put together some wooden beams. This is the same asset, so always we got the same usage of our memory, the same texture, the same geometry, but you're going to see how much different it is. So this is the first example. Second one, again, the same asset, just differently painted over. And this is the same asset again. So we got 3 different feel and look for the same asset. So you can see how much, sorry again, maybe I was doing this too fast. So again, you can see different look and feel for those textures and for the feel of this asset, but still this is the same memory usage. So we can create way different variations and way different feel for our buildings using the same textures and the same, basically using the same memory. And again, we can always, I hope you can see this, we can always take one texture and give it a color tint. So we can always give it that final touch to those assets to make it feel and look different than it was before. And of course, this is just bare wall, so we can always take it to the next level, put some decorations over, and basically can get an actually using in a game asset. And right now, it's very hard for you guys to see, at least for me, it's very hard to see where the texture is styling itself. So we can actually get very nice look and feel and variations of the same textures. All right? So basically, these are those small tricks we are using. Of course, we got some more of those, but those were the basic ones. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel again, right? Just trying to perfect it. So we are using those illusions that are actually working in our game industry, but we're just trying to create a pipeline for us that actually works for what it does. We do the open world games, so it's very hard to squish all of that to our memory. Okay, so again, we're just trying to reinvent, sorry, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, just perfecting it, so making the workflow for us much easier. Okay, guys, it was kind of fast, to be honest. Got some questions?
When you have the different level of details of the models, are all those different level of details handmade, or do you generate them somehow?
Well, all the models and the textures are handmade.
Yeah, but the simpler versions.
Oh yeah, we did use the Simplegon software, but some of the it doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So when it doesn't, we need to go by hand and recreate those LODs to make it really look nice. But yeah, we were trying to use as much as we can the Simplegon software.
Okay.
So how much memory do you always use for processing?
Well, it depends. All the time. Sorry, I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. It's a good question. I should check that out, but I just don't want to tell you something that is not true, but I'm not sure.
Approximately, how many processes do you have in the memory all the time?
Again, same question here.
The numbers of the meshes.
Well, just the Novigrad got over a couple of hundred buildings. I'm not sure the correct number here. But then again, yeah, it was a good question. Sorry, I didn't check that out. Yes?
Can you go back to the slide when you have those textures mixed on the wall?
Okay, you mean like...
Yeah, any of those. Yeah.
Okay.
What maybe somewhere where it's more white.
Again, I'm not here.
Somewhere where you can see more plaster.
Oh! Yeah,
Yeah,
like this?
my question is, how do you mix those textures? Because it's not just a simple average. Like when you have the mask.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna go back here.
Yeah, I know the basics. Like, do you know the algorithm to mix the textures? Because it's not.
Well, we're just using the, we got the mask like here, right? So the mask is blending those textures together. Where it's white, it's gonna blend. Where it's black, it's not gonna blend, right? So basically, this is always handmade mask for us. It's not like, I mean, the same algorithms doing the same stuff with different textures. So we can, try to recreate how it looks on the actual wall, how it, the plaster is breaking down on the brick, and try to make it to look as you want, I would say, right? This is the question?
Well, I was more concerned about what is the actual algorithm for.
Well, I'm not the tech art. I'm just the artist, so I'm not sure here. Sorry. Some more questions here?
Well, is it vertex paint or?
Exactly. This is basically vertex paint. You just need some, as I said, the huge. The advantage we have here, right? You just need put some vertices. You can paint over those. So we need to find this balance between how many vertices we need versus how it looks and feels, right? Some questions here?
Why you do this at max?
Well, these are the preference of myself, I would say. I'm trying to use in Max and Maya, but this actually works better in Max for me, so that's why I'm doing this in Max.
Why not on the editor?
Well, again, this is much easier for us to, because we don't always have the final meshes in game, so it's much easier for us to paint it in Max, even tweak it in Max, and then throw it into the game, because right now, if I would have this mesh in our game, and it's not final, I would need to put it again in the Max and do the same stuff. So it's much easier for us and faster, I would say. Okay, guys, sorry, I was talking probably too fast, so we got some time here. So we can. Well, that's it. Sorry. I mean, you can always buy the game and look at it. It's good. I heard at least. Well, who played it? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, good. Okay, guys, sorry, I feel embarrassed right now because we got some time left. So I hope, yeah.
The title of the whole thing was also always okay. There was also something about the smoke.
Yeah, but exactly, because the smoke and mirrors are those techniques that illusionists used. So basically, I was trying to show you what kind of techniques we are using to create the illusion of a big, huge city, right? Because again, this is just a game. It's impossible for us to put all those parts of the city for the memory in, one point. It's just impossible. So we need to take some steps to make it possible for us, just to save some memory. Yeah.
Is there a difference? Are you using forward or reverse rendering? And what is the difference in terms?
Oh, sorry. Again?
Are you using forward or reverse rendering in the game? Different rendering.
Oh, again, I would think this is more the tech artist's question. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
I wanted to ask if you have other gimmicks like that for characters.
Well, characters are basically the same idea, of course. As far as I know, they got huge flexibility over the clothes. So basically, you got the same mesh, you got something like texture array with some patterns. So basically, you can give a tint to any texture, and even on that, you can throw some kind of pattern, like I don't know, like some kind of flowers or different ornaments. So yeah, they got some huge flexibility here because we need some big crowds for the game. But the basic idea is the same. You got they got the LODs for animation for the meshes, so it looks more or less the same. Okay, guys. So sorry for that.